You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Unfortunately, Terence Steele's season is over. The starting right tackle suffered not just a torn ACL, but also a torn MCL after getting rolled up on by one of the defensive linemen for the Texans in the red zone. His season's over, and the Cowboys are now in I'll be nice and call this tricky position. The Cowboys are saying he'll be good for training camp, but the start of that's like an 8-month timeline. That feels a little bit too aggressive for me. I think week 1 he could very well be ready for, but it's a big loss for Dallas this year when you're in the playoff push in mid-December. Terence Steele, despite a penalty-filled first game of a brutal 4 penalties against the Bucs, since then has been really good. 1 sack, 4 hits, 15 hurries, a PFF run grade, which it's run grades, their grade is PFF, I know, but they track individual data, so that's what I got for you. 82.1 on the run grade side for Terence Steele, as he'd been a very quality starter for your offensive line. So we're going to break down the replacements here, but it's unfortunate because, as we'll get into it more in depth, Tyron Smith should, the plan at least I should say, be back this week. And you plug him in at left tackle because you're not trying to move the franchise left tackle, the future Hall of Famer, unless you have to. You don't have to right now because you don't want to have a guy come back from injury, then change positions late in the process. It's just a bad idea. So this could be your best 5 offensive line. Tyler Smith at left guard, just Peters right tackle. We'll talk about some of those internal options, but you're going to miss, I think in a pretty big way, Terence Steele as a run blocker. The duo inside zone plays off the right side with Zach Martin and Terence Steele had been some of your best run plays all year. So be honest with me. What is your concern level over losing Terence Steele? Scale this for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section. It's, of course, 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Let's also look at the offensive line depth chart one more time here. You can do a lot of different things when it comes to Tyler Smith's position, Josh Ball's position, Jason Peters' role, how you maximize your best 5. Is Connor McGovern one of those 5 guys? But there are 4 players on this screen that I don't really want to try to move from. I don't want to move Tyron Smith. And I don't even mean like, hey, maybe you put the left tackle over there, right? It's not what I want to do. And overall, the O-line has not been elite this year. I would best describe the O-line as survivable, which is fine in the NFL because a lot of O-lines are not survivable. I mean, we've seen what the Cowboys defense has done to some of these offensive lines this year, right? Depending on if you look at PFF or ESPN, the 2 people who kind of really track offensive line data overall, PFF likes what the offensive line has done this year for the Cowboys. ESPN thinks it's the worst in the NFL. So maybe it's somewhere in the middle. It's kind of average-ish. But I think there's a great argument of sacks are a quarterback stat with this year's offensive line for the Cowboys because Dak has done a great job of avoiding those sacks despite still being under pressure. So grade the Cowboys' offensive line this year. Then we're going to break down some potential replacement options for Terence Steele. Is it an A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comment section at the pinned comments on today's video. 4 names, I kind of got ahead of myself earlier, that I don't want to move for the Cowboys. Tyron Smith at left tackle. Start with him, right? He's old, come back from injury himself. In general, when you move players, you do run the risk of injury, and we saw that with Zach Martin. Now, Martin was fine at right tackle. He can play that role, make no mistake about it, but he does not want to play right tackle. He thinks it's going to lead to more injuries, which is backed by the science, too. I'm not doing it. Also, Connor McGovern, Tyler Biadasz can't play right tackle. You might be able to get McGovern on the field, but we'll break that down more in depth in a little bit. My first choice would be Jason Peters, which I think most of you guys agreed with. He stepped up in a significant major way after the Cowboys were forced to bench Josh Ball mid-game. Peters has not played on the right side of the line at right tackle in over 15 years, folks. Here's what Peters said. How can you prepare for it? He said, you can't prepare for that. I hadn't taken any right tackle reps since 2005. So I went in the game, and I stayed in front of people, and that's what I did. That's challenging for Jason Peters. That is not easy at all. And overall this year, he's been asked to play left tackle, left guard, and right tackle, and that is hard for a 40-year-old man. Now, I do worry, I won't lie to you, about Jason Peters being able to play half of his season snaps in one game, or maybe like 30% of them. I don't know if he can do an entire game. Cowboys know better than I do. I'm going to monitor that this year. Now, the Cowboys kind of making a new hire at right tackle, and especially come playoff time, and even for your small business, those new hires can feel like a high-stakes wager. You want to be 100% certain that you have the access to the best qualified candidates. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs help find the right people for your team faster and for free. You know, we've made some hirings here at Chat Sports through LinkedIn Jobs, and we're still pretty small. Got to make sure you get those right, and LinkedIn Jobs helps you accomplish that. You can easily create a job post in mere minutes, then add your job purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile. Spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you want to interview and hire. It's down the stretch. Playoff time for the Cowboys, calendar year for your small business. You want to make sure you finish strong and hire the right person for that job. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply, but that link is in the comments section and the description of today's video. So if you're trying to hire for your small business for the rest of this year, getting set up for next year, make sure you're using LinkedIn Talent Solutions. The other obvious option at right tackle is Josh Ball, which I don't want to do. Fourth-round pick out of Marshall. He got first crack since he'd been the backup right tackle. The Cowboys plug him in, and to be blunt, he almost cost you that game. Now, you still need a 98-yard scoring drive, so I get it. But Josh Ball, in 26 snaps against Houston, 12 pass block reps. PFF graded him out great in the ground game, and Mike McCarthy kind of said something similar, so perhaps they're right, although he didn't run the ball that great down the stretch, so not sure I buy it. But he got beat badly twice. Twice he got cooked. He got cooked for a forced fumble when he got bull rushed, and the defender hit Dak Prescott. It was a fumble. Ball eventually recovered it, thank God. And on the interception, again, Dak's arm got hit. He does not play with great power. Josh Ball has got to be better if he's going to play, and I don't trust him to. I don't want to see Josh Ball out there. Houston's not that great of a pass rushing team. How are you going to hold up against the Niners, the Bucks, if you play them? Not confident. Now, I am very curious what the Cowboys choose to do with Tyron Smith. I wouldn't be mad if they don't think Jason Peters can play an entire game for the rest of the season or play a full games for the rest of the year. If you try Tyron Smith at right tackle. The plan, though, was to put Tyron Smith at left guard. And he hasn't been getting right tackle reps at all this year. So that's a bit of a startling change for a player who has been fine, but I'm not sure I'd say he's been an elite player at this point. There have been a lot of penalties. He's gotten beat plenty as well. The mistakes, I think, will be more mitigated by having him on the interior. My first hope would be to play him at left guard, Tyron Smith at left tackle. But you can at least make an argument as to, hey, maybe at least try and practice and see what Tyron Smith can do at right tackle, even though, look, it's not like Madden. You can't just flip sides, no problem. There are some complications that arise with footwork, technique, etc. So who do you want starting at right tackle? Is it Peters? Is it Ball? Who is it? Sound off for me in the comment section. The Cowboys also have a potential roster spot to fill since they like to carry 8 offensive linemen on game day, but they have 7 healthy, and their top 2 call-ups, Avion Collins and Dakota Shepley, are out of said call-ups. So you could have to promote one of those guys to the active roster, fill out your depth, or try to pull up an Alex Taylor or Brock Hoffman. Probably not Isaac Aracone. The Seahawks tried to make their International Player Pathway Program guy a call up when they were in Germany because he's from Germany. NFL said no. I don't think it's going to be Alarcon. Sorry, guys. I'd say Collins and Shepley, if you make a promotion on the practice squad, are good names to keep an eye out for. Coming up next, we'll break down some free agency options fresh off a T.Y. Hilton signing, right? If they make a move, we'll break it down for you. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Cowboys news and rumors right here 24/7. Hit that subscribe button for free right now. The big free agency option is Daryl Williams, the right tackle, who also played some right guard for the Bills last year. A lot of snaps, was okay. You always have to remember this. Why is somebody unsigned in December? Do you trust them to be fully healthy, etc., and to be an impact player for you? Especially on the offensive line when there's bad O-line play everywhere. So Daryl Williams is the most intriguing name on this list. If I could get him in for a practice squad spot to start, I'd actually be very intrigued by that. But the fact he's unsigned, again, should raise some red flags. Bobby Massey, the right tackle, got some starts for Denver and Chicago, but the benchmark is he better than Josh Ball? And I kind of go, maybe for all these guys, and that's why I'm mentioning them. But they're also not going to be, I think, good starting options. Maybe Daryl Williams, but the Raiders have had no good right tackles all year, and they never signed him. It's kind of weird to me. So what do you think the Cowboys end up doing? Will they sign a free agent offensive tackle? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me in the comment section. I'll mention Eric Flowers, one of the bigger names out there. He was a bust at tackle for the Giants, kind of salvaged his career until this year at guard. I'll mention him, but say he doesn't really fit what you're trying to do need-wise because I think he's a guard only at this point. I don't trust him at tackle. Brian Bulaga, now he's got injury history that I think might be the reason why he's unsigned. Mike McCarthy knows him, though, from his time in Green Bay. Chargers know him, but he wasn't great for the Chargers in kind of half-ish a season back in 2020. He barely played at all in 2021. It's been an issue there. I think medical is why he got flunked. And then I will briefly mention Sam Tevi to wrap this up here, because Tevi was brought in by the Cowboys for a visit earlier in the preseason. I was told the Cowboys were out on Tevi after that meeting, and I would assume that was a medical reason why. I never heard for what purpose, but I was told they were out on him. So I'll mention and say probably not going to happen.